All right, everyone, welcome back to StarLadder iLeague Invitational Season 5. We are in the China Qualifier, and this is your best of 3 grand final. Invictus Gaming versus LGD Gaming. They both made their way all the way through this single elimination bracket. They took 2-0 victories against their opponents yesterday, both looking reasonably strong. These two teams haven't met one another in a qualifier for about 2 months. The last qualifier that they played, they played against each other in the ESL qualifier, which LGD ended up winning 2-1. And then I think they also played in the qualifier for the previous season of StarLadder, which LGD also ended up taking the win there. So IG out for revenge. Both of these teams have been looking pretty good. I think this is going to be a close series. I am favoring LGD just a little bit, but LGD do also seem to have some shaky moments, so we'll have to see if they can avoid that here. As far as our draft, we're going to have a bunch of pushing heroes banned out on the IG side, Beastmaster Chen and Omni all removed, as LGD going to kind of go for more of a laning early game angle with their bans, getting rid of the Tiny, the Gyrocopter, and the Dark Willow. So IG, they did play against King Gaming yesterday, picked up the Gyrocopter in the second game. XXS had a fantastic game on that, and LGD, we saw them have great success with the Bounty Hunter yesterday. X-Nova moving around fantastically, really just completely shutting down Rock Gaming, preventing them from getting anything done. I think LGD looked like they had a slightly easier time in their series yesterday, but I think that's also to be expected. Like I was saying, the caliber of opponent that LGD faced yesterday was a little bit lower than what IG were up against. You know, nothing against Rock Gaming. I'm a fan of theirs now, and especially given how well they played being an open qualifier team, but they just don't quite stack up against LGD. So get that Bounty Hunter first pick. IG might still be looking at something kind of 5-man oriented as a way to sort of deal with the Bounty Hunter. And the Bounty Hunter, he's pretty much just a walking track a lot of the time. So if your team isn't equipped to actually win team fights or prevent the enemy team from just deathballing, then that can be where Bounty Hunter looks a little bit weak. Now we're going to see some Disruptor and Sand King. Disruptor's been trending all over the place. By far one of the most popular position 5 heroes right now. It feels like Disruptor and Witch Doctor are the two really popular support heroes of the moment. And LGD, what are they going to go for here?
Invictus
If they pick Rubik, they're a little bit light on damage, but it is always sort of tempting against the Sand King to just grab the Rubik for yourself. So they will do so. Definitely going to need some strong laners to back this up. I think their safe lane is looking relatively weak, though fortunately the Disruptor not very likely to be part of an aggressive tri-lane, so they should be able to avoid that at the very least. But the Sand King is very likely to be part of an aggressive dual off lane, which LGD are not super well equipped to deal with just yet. So probably have to leave their carry pick until a little bit later, just so they have an idea of what the off-lane matchup is going to be, and making sure that they get a safe laner that can cope with whatever the situation is. Because Rubik, not really a great zoning support, really just wants to go and sit back, run some pulls, maybe steal a farming spell somewhere, and then just farm his way towards that first item. So we shall see. We got a Clockwork being banned. Interesting to see Clockwork banned. I still think that hero is a little bit mediocre at the moment, but Invictus Gaming do still seem to rate it. SRF had a pretty good Clockwork game yesterday. Dark on Keen Gaming did not. He got completely dumpstered in the offlane. Well, didn't even get dumpstered, but just didn't. Kind of got level 7 and then stayed level 7 for like 10 plus minutes and just didn't manage to accomplish anything. But all right. We've only got supports picked so far. I mean, the Sand King could be offlane. LGD have run offlane Bounty Hunter in the past, but I don't think there's really any merit to doing that this game. So, yeah, lots of just fairly hardy cores. You know, the archetype for cores in this patch very much seems to be either you're a big team fighter or you're like a tanky damage dealer, and that's kind of it. There's a couple of other niche heroes floating around. Some glass cannons. I would say Pugna probably doesn't necessarily fit either of those two archetypes, though. I don't know. He is still fairly survivable so long as you play around the disables in the right way. But IG, what are they going to go for here? The draft is pretty wide open. I could see something like a Terrorblade being picked up here. The lockdown from LGD is not necessarily all that amazing just yet, so I could be looking to exploit that potentially. I do want to see IG kind of take a 5-man approach here. Maybe pick something like a Dragon Knight in this position, just being able to get those early tier 1 towers secured, start to restrict the space on the map a little bit. Would be nice. But, all right. Invictus Gaming are already going to show their hand a little bit. Looks like it's going to be Sand King heading to the off lane. Tusk probably hanging around there somewhat to help out as well. Tusk fairly good at rotating around while the Bounty Hunter is on the map. Reasonably tanky. You know, can just carry himself with dust and get some counter ganks against the Bounty Hunter. So I don't mind this pick from that perspective, but it's still very non-committal from IG. Like I feel like they're really just fishing for information on the LGD side. They really want to leave their mid lane and their safe lane picks to be true counter picks against what IG are running.
Invictus
So
Gaming
LGD gonna have to show something. They just go for the Death Prophet. Nice to have against the Tusk rotations. You know, any of these like position 4 heroes that are always looking to heavily pressure the mid lane, your Earth Spirits, your Spirit Breakers. I mean, Spirit Breaker doesn't get picked very much at the moment, but you know, your Earth Spirit, your Tusk, your Spirit Breaker, that kind of genre of position 4 support. The Death Prophet always does reasonably well because if you get jumped on, you throw out a couple of Spirit Siphons and you run for the hills. So I like the pick. It gives LGD a little bit more to say about some of the early tower push, and they're actually, I guess, the lineup with the better building damage so far. In terms of what Invictus Gaming could pick up to respond to this, could see something like an OD or maybe a Queen of Pain coming in for the burst damage. Teams have been trying out Lina as well. I think that could also work, but then they would need definitely a very big physical damage hero in their safe lane. The Dragon Knight is still decent in this situation. He doesn't really care as much about the Bounty Hunter harassment. I think he has a pretty decent lane against the Death Prophet, and just picking up a bunch of tanky heroes and running at the Death Prophet can be a pretty successful strategy to deal with the DP in fights. So like, oh yeah, your Exorcism does a bunch of damage, but we all have a ton of HP and armor, so we can kill you faster than you can kill us. But IG only 9 seconds left in their reserve time pool here. Gotta make those decisions quick, smart.
LGD's turn to pick Queen of Pain.
All right, they will just grab the Quap. So a little bit more vulnerable to some Bounty Hunter harassment potentially, but like I'm saying, good burst damage against the Death Prophet. Nice to have. These LGD supports are kind of food against the Queen of Pain later on if she picks up an Orchid, so that's nice, but still no real building damage to speak of on the IG side, which is a little bit concerning. LGD, what do they go for here? Something like an Abaddon in the offlane could be decent if they want to actually end up being kind of the 5-man front foot forward building taking team. Could be a reasonable option. What else? Probably not a Brewmaster. I think Brew is a little bit difficult to play this game. We'll see. There's still plenty of options, but I think LGD are going to try and... Or are they going to try and leave their carry pick to last? Probably will. Ooh, Bat Rider. Okay, so that's a slightly different look. So very much sort of pick-off focused on the LGD side. Nice hero to have against the Queen of Pain. She is quite squishy, fairly burstable. Their catch was not that great up until this point, so Bat Rider definitely helping that situation. And Invictus Gaming, just worried about those Infest Bombs, are going to be banning out the Lifestealer. I think the reason for banning out the Lifestealer is twofold. Not only is he pretty good with the Bat Rider and decent against this magic damage composition that Invictus Gaming have, but he's also pretty good in lane against the Sand King. I've seen Fnatic really actively picking the Lifestealer when they know that they're up against an offlane Sand King, because Lifestealer does have that little bit of extra sustain. He is still a melee hero, but can at least kind of survive against the Caustic and has some kill potential against the Sand King with good support rotations. So, now what? IG, what is your final pickup going to be? They definitely need some building damage. I don't think the Dragon Knight is looking like a great pick anymore. We have seen teams trying
LGD's
Weaver a little
turn
bit
to
recently. I mean, it is a good laning matchup against the Bat. If they want to be mega boring, they could just pick Jug. I guess they're gonna wait and see what LGD are picking here for their safe lane, but I guess LGD are also trying to think that through in terms of, oh, maybe we can steal away the best carry
10
pick
seconds remaining.
in this situation.
5 seconds remaining.
What's it gonna be? Oh, still 30 seconds of reserve time. Still considering. I think TB would be a little bit difficult to play if you're LGD here. I think they want a fairly self-sufficient laning hero, to be honest. Because it would be nice. I mean, the Bounty Hunter doesn't want to be sitting in the safe lane. And like I've been saying, the Rubik kind of just wants to run pulls and maybe gank a little bit. I don't think he really wants to be sitting there babysitting. And he's not a very effective babysitting hero either. So
Invictus
they need somebody that can kind of
Phantom
do their own thing. PA isn't necessarily that hero, but LGD did run it yesterday. Worked out fairly nicely. Though I think that game was more about the Timbersaw than the PA. And poor old Gyrocopter just had a terrible time. I don't know if you guys caught that match, but all right, we'll have the PA picked up. Going to be a very important BKB game. Looks like the supports are probably going to have to help out that safe lane a little bit. And Invictus Gaming pick a Slark. Why? I mean, it's okay against Batrider, but this hero is just in the absolute dumpster at the moment. Like, no more Iron Talon, no more Poor Man's Shield, Undispellable Hex. He just doesn't feel like he does anything, really. And IG started with the sort of teamfight opening, but it feels like they've now gone more into kind of a split push pick-off style with the rest of their draft. So I guess they're like, okay, Slark is decent against Batrider in lane, pretty good against their supports. He can buy a Silver Edge against the Phantom Assassin. Let's just do it. But I don't know. I don't think this hero has any place in the current meta. And at this point, will they just go aggro? Like, I think with that pick, they've actually made their safe lane extremely weak. So even though like Bounty Rubik PA doesn't sound like a very impressive aggro tri-lane either, I think the tri-lane versus tri-lane might actually favor LGD there. So are they going to go for it? Yeah, Ame's running down bot. He sees this Slark. He's like, yeah, Chalice, go take that 1v1 against the Sand King. He knows that Chalice can do just fine in that situation. Might even win that lane matchup. And then LGD going to head down with the aggro tri-lane, or aggro dual lane. Try and put the pressure on this Slark. Don't let him get off to a good start. The hero is pretty slow. You need those first couple of items to really come online. So we'll see. They do have good catch if they manage to start winning fights and bursting down heroes. Their lineup is very difficult to disengage from, but I don't know if LGD have any plans to actually disengage. They got a Bleak Hallucination, Broken Cosmetics versus Bleak Hallucination, Broken Cosmetics. Good stuff, good stuff. X-Nova coming in here, looking to plant down a couple of wards. He's going to get spotted by Baboka. I don't even know if Baboka was necessarily looking for him, but it's a little bit scary for Nova. And he does see a Dust on the Tusk, so alright, just going to run back to his teammates. Maybe an FY coming over to help out. But, alright, might have to play some slightly more conservative wards, and it's IG with all the vision early on here. The small camp has been blocked out, but I don't know. Have they not realized that LGD are just going to go for an aggro here? SRF, this other Burrow Strike, going to try and pick up the Bouncer, and doesn't even need to use the Burrow for that. Chalice just going to let him have it. It will end up being 2 bounties apiece. IG grabbing the top ones. They are going to be rotating away from this aggro tri-lane. So I'm going to try and give Aggressive the matchup that they're hoping for up against the Batrider. But it does mean that SRF... Alright, he's going to have to TP. The only problem now is that LGD have the advantage of being the chasing team. So if they wanted to, they could still... actually, no, the Slark didn't use his TP. So they could still rotate the lanes, though the Sand King would have to walk at this point. And yeah, okay, they are gonna chase him. They don't want to let this Slark have an easy time in the early game. Phantom Assassin even picking up the Phantom Strike first. Ame making a statement, but does need to be a little bit careful. Gonna right-click down. FY also now arrives on the scene with the Fade Bolt. Gonna right-click back Q, push the lane in a little bit, and Slark is still on the run. Alright, so now the Sand King has to run all the way top. I don't know, maybe they'll just leave somebody else up here. Q with a very long duration TP down to bottom, but still makes it. Try for the pounce forward, but Chalice not going to get caught. He's got the Firefly now, so I think he's going to be A-okay. Wave pushing in pretty heavily, and they need to make sure that it doesn't bounce too hard off the tower. Meanwhile, mid lane, didn't even see what was going on, but maybe doing very well up against XXS to start. 6-1. No, actually against 5-2, I guess it's not too crazy. I saw 6-1 against like 3-for-1 and thought, all right, maybe he's owning, but not the case. Queen of Pain, interesting skill build. Point in the Shadow Strike and gets that Scream of Pain at level 2 just to help secure the last hit under the tower. As we will have a pause. Man, we had such a long duration. Actually, it wasn't that long, but it was just an annoying pause at the start of one of the series yesterday. Batrider forced all the way back to his tower by the harassment from Baboka, but top lane is completely free. PA is getting 100% uncontested CS. FY is just, he's drinking it in as well. He's like, look at all this experience. We can get every single one of the denies. I'm going to get a fast level 6 this game, hopefully. So, we'll see how this Sand King manages to catch back up. Even though they've managed to lock in the matchup that they were hoping for, they've super sacked their Sand King in this situation. IG. At least he's got his TP back off cooldown now. So alright, there you go. Makes his way back up top. X Nova moving around. What happened to the other Dire Observer ward? Did it get dewarded? Perhaps? I don't see any Radiant Sentries on the map. Maybe they just didn't even buy it. If I wanted that wand a little bit faster. X Nova hoping to find a courier snipe here. Not gonna get so lucky. He does see that the Queen of Pain's a little bit low. Might be thinking that, okay, she's gonna be ferrying a salve before too long. May choose to stick around a little bit longer, but the 3-minute mark is coming up soon. Baboka also invis here, trying to sneak around onto the mid lane. Looking at the Death Prophet, only has the 1 point in the Spirit Siphon so far. XXS is a little bit low on HP though, so this isn't going to be the easiest go to make, and yeah, XXS is already going to be forced back. Does manage to break the Siphon pretty quickly. And Somnus tanks a bunch of auto attacks as he makes his way back to his tower. X Nova still just crossing his fingers for the courier snipe, but looks like they're not going to let him have it. Queen of Pain now getting those items delivered, but it's going to be a flying courier and has a level 1 bounty hunter. I don't think he has any chance of sniping that one, so gives up on that, and looks like he's now going to be coming down bottom as the musical lanes continue. We now have the Phantom Assassin up in Aggressive's face once again, but no backup from the supports just yet, so Aggressive, sensing this, is actually just going to go on him. Ame taking damage, but still fairly tanky. Jumps over onto Q. They've got the TP coming in from the Rubik. FY will be arriving soon. Aggressive gets the Dark Pact off. Avoids some of the lift. They are going to be able to get the glimpse back onto FY, but Ame still gets the first blood. Too many misses from Aggressive. Can't finish the kill, and now X Nova is going to chase him back. There's still getting some Essence Shift stacks up. They snowball in. Another pounce. Good Blink Strike away into X Nova, but they've got the Ice Shards. Ame, okay, a couple of right clicks and bring him down. Nova also in trouble, but at least retreats back to his tower. So they get the first blood, but they do end up losing the PA. Nice timely rotation out of the Tusk, and this Bounty Hunter is actually quite low. They do have a Dust. Baboka going to come running in, dust him up, and one more auto attack from Q is going to be enough to secure it. Alright, they wanted to come and contest this Slark's lane, but just didn't quite arrive quickly enough, and Aggressive still going to be just fine. How is the mid lane going? Slight advantage to the Death Prophet. Also picks up a DD. Does need to be a little bit careful though, as the Queen of Pain's burst damage is continuing to scale up as time goes on. Baboka definitely winning the position 4 battle right now, though only by a little bit of experience. And Nova trying to come in and get some more wards down. Let's get 1 obs, scouting some rotations. PA still very eager to keep pressuring this Slark in the early game. Nova's also going to come in. Can they block the pounce? They won't be able to. Aggressive just getting in front of Nova there. And they want this Death Prophet kill over at mid. They got the Sand King on the one side, they got the Tusk on the other. Chalice will probably be calling out that the Sand King is missing, and I would imagine that somebody on LGD is holding up a TP to be able to make the counter gank. FY doesn't actually have one at the moment, though.
I'll take your tribute.
Still, relatively low farm game across the board. FY gonna try for this pull. Looks like he should get it. This one is so much easier than the dire version. So it's gonna be a little bit annoying for aggressive. We have Waboka down here now again. They give up on that mid lane gank. They really just need to get some more levels on this bounty hunter so he can actually contribute something. It is the downside of the LGD support duo. There's not really a ton of damage in the early stages. SRF stealing waves, doesn't want to 1v1 up against the Batrider. Has managed to catch up a little bit, and Waboka gonna get the shards in here onto FY. Aggressive is running over. Dark Pact comes out, they're holding the lift, waiting for that. The snowball comes through. FY still on the run. He did have those 6 wand charges, helping to keep him alive. Nova's the one taking damage. They glimpse back Ame, and looks like he just focused down the bounty hunter. IG, slightly better lockdown, slightly better damage output, and able to just pick up yet another kill. And spot a regen here. He does get it, well, not immediately canceled. There's actually a bottle on this Slark. Thinking about going back in. Field almost going to catch the PA, but I think Ame should be fine. And there's always that threat of the Death Prophet running over from the mid lane, so nobody wants to start a big fight in the river. Same kind of story for LGD. They don't want this Queen of Pain blinking in with the Sonic Wave at the ready. How is the Batrider doing? Does he have something on the courier? Alright, he's going to be going for the drum first this game. Won't be rushing the blink against the Slark. Just kind of going for the tank up, run into the team fight option instead. Don't mind it. Alright, Nova and FY rotating over. Do they have a point in the silence? They do. He won't be able to get the blink away. Now they pop the exorcism. They also got the lift back. Unexpected skill build from the Death Prophet secures the kill.
Got it.
Very nice from LGD, and now they're going to be able to get some work done with this exorcism. Maybe he's even chasing it a little bit deeper. He's only got 1 Spirit Siphon left. But can quite comfortably tank up the tower. The glyph is going to be popped. Looks like they will be able to hold on a little bit longer. Nova needing to be careful, but Waboka does still have that second dust charge. And aggressive. What's he got? So it wasn't actually his bottle, it was the Tusk's bottle that he managed to bottle. He bottled up that regen earlier. Going to be going for some treads first. I would expect pretty standard Slark item progression this game. I don't know if he considers going for a blink. I think the Shadow Blade's probably a little bit better. FY, alright, can't go up the cliff. Just going to be forced to run up the river, but does get glimpsed back. We've seen this story before. FY will be right-click down. That's a killing spree for the Slark early on here. Actually, a slight net worth lead in favor of IG. They are about to lose SRF on the other side, though. XXS doing his best to try and help out. Does have the Sonic Wave and a Haste Rune. Can't see the Bounty Hunter. Can't kill him off. And there's so much dire vision on the map right now. I guess because they only had the 1 Observer Ward at the start of the game, they've now got 4 obs. Kind of completely covering every angle from IG at the moment. Aggressive does have his Shadow Dance ready. But Ame still very eager to keep playing in the Slark's lane, keep putting pressure on him. FY thought it was going to be a fast 6 this game, but still taking him a little bit to find those levels. And XXS still hasn't used the Sonic Wave just yet. Would be nice to see a rotation out of him, but seemingly a little bit difficult to set up. The IG supports do have pretty good ganking potential at this stage. Like, I don't know. I think they're letting this Phantom Assassin get away with a lot. But FY just giving Ame the Blink Strike target at the moment. Just in case he gets gone on. FY coming forward. Gonna lay in with the harassment. They're actually gonna go for Q. Jumping in on him. He does still have the glimpse. Aggressive. Turning this around. Damage onto FY. Q makes it into the trees. FY now has to try and juke and jive. He does still have plenty of wand charges. Ame in some trouble. Not brought down just yet, but he does get caught by the pounce. They look for the turnaround. snowball over onto FY, but Chalice has also arrived here, and they're managing to get the sticky stacks down. XXS now turns up. They really want this PA kill. The Sonic Wave's not going to come out. FY with the lift prevents it, and Ame's still surviving, but Boca does actually have an Ice Shard. But I don't know if he's going to be able to get the PA kill. They will instead settle for X Nova, but now the Firefly starts coming over, and the XXS forced to blink back defensively. Aggressive, can he escape? FY's hoping for another Fade Bolt. Still needs a couple more seconds, and XXS does drop him down with the Sonic Wave, but Ame, knowing that that's being used, now jumps in. Chalice has picked up a triple kill. Ame might even be able to look for more, but does just want to retreat at this stage, and the bottom lane engagement goes pretty badly for IG overall. They get the 2 supports, but they lose 4 heroes. Sand King does get some farm up top in the meantime, but very big win for LGD, especially with the Phantom Assassin surviving through everything. And Batrider, now already up to 2k gold, courtesy of that triple kill. FY with the lift back. Looks like he is going to come grab his level 6 up top now. And maybe hoping for the backstab on mid. But Boca does have a TP scroll, but he's getting surrounded by 3, slowed down, silenced. Janata hit. He's going to buy a couple of seconds for himself with the snowball, but I don't see any way out for him, and that will be Chalice picking up a mega kill streak. Who are we glimpsing down here? Oh, Q just glimpsing to save his own life. Ame hunting for him. Aggressive going to come over and try and help out. XXS, ooh, just barely going to be able to get the blink off. There's that silence came in. And if that had been a silence into a lasso, I think he would have been quite easily brought down. SRF hoping to snowball in perhaps onto FY along with the Tusk, but FY just going to grab himself a level 4 Burst Strike. And LGD is still hunting aggressively for these kills. They don't even have the Exorcism at the moment. I don't even know if they really need it. IG, are they going to bring numbers to try and defend this? Burst Strike against Burst Strike. FY goes in, gets the lift off now onto the Tusk. They've got the silence out onto 2. Aggressive. It's going to start bursting FY, bringing him down low. Should be able to finish him. FY still juking. Won't be able to get off another Burst Strike. Over in the trees. There's a Burst Strike connecting onto LGD. Chalice moving around with the Firefly, keeping himself alive. Maybe he's the one being isolated. XXS laying in with the auto attacks. Q also arrives. That Crypt Swarm doing so much damage. They will catch him inside the Static Storm kinetic field. Salman's just going to stand his ground and try and fight this one out, as they will get the lasso now over onto the Queen of Pain, but the wand charges keep her alive. Chalice, can he actually escape from this one? Where is the PA? He's actually still just all the way down at bottom. Can't get over to this fight. Chalice getting glimpsed back in, and this time around it will be IG taking the slightly better fight overall. They do lose their Slark. They do lose the Sand King. So, actually a fairly even trade. Who just died?
Under attack.
The Boca just died. Stuck around a little bit too long.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
That should help.
Actually, was it all that even? Maybe with that +1 actually favoring LGD. Ame was farming all the while, working towards a Battle Fury, and poor old Sand King getting set back on his Blink Dagger. Did Bat at least manage to buy his Blink? He did. Alright, so not losing too much there. Aggressive getting gone on, has been silenced up. Manages to pop the Shadow Dance, but they're hunting for him. He does have a TP, and looks like he will be able to escape. Double taps it all the way back to the fountain.
Scanning.
I think he could have TP'd to a shrine or something instead and kept on farming, but not a huge deal. Still kind of looking for him, or looking for anyone trying to defend. LGD also hoping for this courier snipe. Nova's not going to be able to grab it. FY. I think just going to say goodbye to Nova at this point. They've got some sentries. And yeah, Aggressive picking up that kill. Still though, needs an entire component to go on his Shadow Blade, and LGD are just taking building after building, still holding on to all of their tier 1 towers at this point. The building damage from Invictus Gaming is pretty much non-existent. Look at this. This tower is at 1400 HP, 1300 HP, 1400 HP. XXS doing his best to push things out up top, but I don't know. LGD might even be able to go and defend that. Two-man smoke making its way over towards the top side, and the Bounty Hunter also going to come TPing in, so XXS should be tracked up in a second. They do have a couple of heroes just sitting behind him. Q ready here, level 9 on the Disruptor. Does have a dust, and they're going to get the scan. They reveal X Nova. Can he get a couple of tracks off at the very least before he goes down? He's got some wand charges, but now he's dead on the back lines. They're actually going to get the Epicenter off. Bursting down the Batrider. Chalice won't be able to escape. IG set the trap beautifully. FY, what can he actually do? They try and glimpse Ame back, but it's just to the tower. He did wait long enough, and even with 2 heroes dead, LGD still want to try and fight this. They do need to be a little bit careful. The Sonic Wave is available. They're bursting onto the tusk, but he's going to have a snowball soon. Death Prophet, is she tanky enough? She's still got wand charges. The Spirit Siphon's going to work, but Aggressive has arrived. And it looks like they should be able to burst down the DP. FY, all he can do is sit down on the low ground and wait. Samus actually manages to dodge the Sonic Wave. Now they might be able to get the turnaround, or at the very least get this aggressive kill. The dagger crit finishes him off. Burrow Strike through. That was an FY Burrow Strike, keeping them locked down, but they will lose Ame. FY, what can he actually steal? It's the Scream, but he doesn't have the mana left to use it. And LGD still managed to turn that into a 3 for 5, actually. No, never mind. I thought that was alright for them, but no. Definitely big win for the Invictus Gaming side. Tons of gold for both the Disruptor and the Queen of Pain. Unfortunately, Slark not really getting that much, being brought down once again, but they did such a good job of just stopping the Batrider from doing anything in the fight. Like the Bounty Hunter got jumped. It kind of forced LGD's hand a little bit. I think they would have preferred to kind of wait for the PA and the Death Prophet to get there, but at that point, Bat was already dead, and IG will walk away with that win. Pretty high octane game so far. 30 kills in 16 minutes. Aggressive will finally have his Shadow Blade in the next couple of minutes, so we'll see if that's going to start racking up some kills on these squishier supports. FY is going for, I guess, a little bit more of a lockdown build this game, maxing out the telekinesis. No points in the null field just yet. Realizing that his team is perhaps a bit light on disables, and they do need every little bit that they can muster against the Queen of Pain and the Slark. And Aggressive does opt for the edgy talent. I don't think that's a big surprise. Farm speed improvement. Every little bit of attack speed works nicely with the Essence Shift. He is going to go TPing over to his team here. It looks like IG want to defend this top lane. They do have the blink on SRF. It's a 5-man smoke Sonic Wave coming off cooldown in 20 seconds time. LGD, they've got X-Nova off to the side. FY still sitting up here in the front, but they don't have their Phantom Assassin at the fight just yet. And Ame doesn't actually have a TP scroll. They're just going to go straight onto FY. They don't want to let him steal the Burrow Strike. And Aggressive will just right-click him down. Shadow Blade unveiled, but I think still a pretty worthwhile kill to grab. Chalice going to try and lay down a little bit of Firefly to hold on to this top tier 1 just that bit longer, but no Firefly is going to make the ensuing fight a little bit more difficult, though. It looks like LGD no interest in fighting this one. Death Prophet just wants her item. The Phantom Assassin wants to get her farm on with the Battle Fury, and they are just going to give away this tier 1 tower.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
He's not even
attack.
going to bother pushing on the tower. He's just looking for more. Does pop out of the Shadow Blade. Doesn't get silenced up. He's got the pact there, and then straight into the Static Storm kinetic field. Maybe he's going to be brought down. He's got some one charge, but doesn't even bother using it. IG just going to leave the creeps to grab the tier 1, as they do get a very big kill on the DP. That was so nicely done. Slark running over, I think Q TP to the shrine, and at that point, absolutely no escape for the Death Prophet. And even if he had the Yules there, I mean, there's always going to be a glimpse to drag him back. Didn't have any teammates nearby. PA does feel the need to rush straight to BKB, so no Desolator for Ame this game. IG, I mean, we haven't even seen the full strength of their lineup just yet. Because once they take these tier 1 towers, the Slark is going to have so much more room to move around. Already able to start getting some D-wards going as well with the Shadow Dance. So able to lock down their side of the map a little bit more. Queen of Pain starting to scale up. Pretty defensive build so far, going for the Yule Scepter, and we'll just be going for the Shivas shortly after. Doesn't want to get bursted down by that PA. And knows that they're going to be buying ways to deal with an Orchid. You know, BKB, PA, Yule's Death Prophet. So. Well, why not? Another smoke from IG. This one may have been scouted a little bit by this Dire Observer Ward. There are no pings coming out from LGD. They're just looking for a lasso gank. Aggressive is linking up with the rest of his team, and maybe needs to be careful about the path that he takes. The courier's still a ways away, so he's not going to get his Yules delivered all that quickly, and they do get a ward up on the high ground, straight into the glimpse back. They dive maybe underneath the tower. What can they really do? FY steals the Burst Strike, and just runs for it, but he's actually going to get caught here by the shards. He burrows through, and he's going to be okay. Got IG with that pick. Now set their sights on the tier 1 tower. Mid lane is getting pushed out by Ame all the meanwhile. Did go for the 20% cleave talent, interestingly enough. So seemingly wants to take this a little bit later, I suppose. Feeling like his real strength is going to be maybe at that sort of 4 or 5 slotted mark as opposed to sort of 2-3 slotted. I guess it's just the Yasha. Nova's over in these trees. SRF looking for more. They are going to realize that the Bounty Hunter is in here. They pop the dust. Nova's going to be bursted down quickly. And this IG 5-man train keeps on rolling. Get the snowball in. They do get the lasso onto Boboka. FY, will he be able to escape? He burrow strikes a little bit further out, but Aggressive is still hot on this trail. Now they've got the glimpse back. This IG lineup is just so damn difficult to disengage from. The Death Prophets respawn, but her team is all dead. LGD kind of in shambles. PA does have that BKB. Ame's itching for a fight, but IG just going to go back and farm. Still only sitting at about a 1k net worth lead. But it has been on the LGD side for the last few minutes. I don't know what LGD really do at this stage. They haven't really been very successful getting lasso ganks with the Batrider. Ooh, now they want the PA. They got the Epicenter Blink Burrow. Snowball stun. Won't be able to get the BKB off. It looks like Ame does pop it and run for it. Actually a little bit too tanky, but doesn't have any teammates in the neighborhood. So that's a 10-second BKB charge being forced out. No kill, but I think still well worth it for IG. And that's just going to be a couple of minutes that they can keep on farming. And Slark continues to get scarier. Q rushing straight toward... Oh, he thought about rushing straight towards an Aghanim Scepter. What's he buying instead? Ghost Scepter, alright. A little bit more modest. LGD just going to pop the Exorcism for Roshan. Radiant Scan going to reveal the Bounty Hunter up here on the high ground. Does not get clipped by the dust. It is still being chased down, punched up into the air. Aggressive is there. LGD bringing down the Roche. I don't know if they will be able to fight afterwards. Don't have a whole lot of Exorcism duration left, but they do at least get the Aegis over on their PA. I'm going to be tanking up even further, actually. Just queuing up an S&Y. Now what's happening on mid lane? They've cut out Chalice. Glimpse back into Static Storm Kinetic Field. Yep. Disruptor proving to be extremely lethal for LGD.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Q is set up so many kills this game with Glimpse. And they've got a lineup that makes it pretty easy. The Slark can be scouting, the Queen of Pain can blink in for vision, Sand King kind of the same story. Maybe even the Frozen Sigil catching somebody out. Still no Exorcism for 80 seconds, so IG still with quite a bit of free reign. FY trying to build up a Yule Scepter. Getting close. I think they've spotted the courier flying down here. Boboka might just settle for that. FY knows that he's been made. Needs to escape. He can burrow strike himself into the trees and TP out. So I think he's going to be okay. FY. You don't want to stick around here too long. Alright, he's out of there. Close one. Do have a SNY now for the Slark. The Disruptor still has his sights set on that Aghanim Scepter. Would be an insanely potent item to have, given that LGD are so reliant on their items to survive this game. BKB, Yules, maybe also going to be queuing up a BKB. And LGD, what can they do here? They really want to do something successful with this Aegis, try and use the lasso on the Batrider. They do have a smoke coming out of the backpack in just a second. Aggressive is hunting for Nova. Yeah, I mean, throws out one track and now just gonna get attacked to death. So no Bounty Hunter for this fight, but I mean, not a huge part of their damage anyway. LGD, if they could clean up the backlines first, that would be the big deal. If SRF gonna be dragged in here, but they do get a glimpse across. He's still gonna be silenced up and brought down. Doesn't have the Yule Scepter just yet. LGD, that's the only pick-off they're gonna get, it looks like. Aggressive heading straight into the Scotty, XXS. Split pushing away, knows that the lasso has been used, so pretty much nothing to catch him at this point. He's free to push mid lane, push bottom lane, do whatever he wants. Net worth lead still very slim, but it remains to be seen how much damage the PA is actually going to be able to do in these upcoming couple of engagements. And it looks like they might just successfully wait out the Aegis. 2 minutes to go. Tusk getting even more initiation going. Got a Blink Dagger now up for Boca. That counter initiation potential also going to be really important against the Lasso. And I feel like Nova's had a pretty underwhelming Bounty Hunter game here. I mean, a lot of that is that his team just hasn't really, hadn't really had that many opportunities to gank. The Slark has been very elusive. The Queen of Pain, also kind of the same story. And I feel like they just also haven't managed to bring down the supports very much. LGD playing aggressively over on the Radiant side of the map. At least get the lanes in somewhat. It's a real game of whack-a-mole. Every single time they kind of manage to push in one lane, aggressive for XXS is off elsewhere, shoving things out. LGD looks like they will be able to commit for this bottom tier 2 tower. Not the fastest push with no Deso and no armor corruption talent, but I think they should still be able to work their way through this. It's gonna get popped. Invictus Gaming, what's the TP situation like? Alright, everybody's got TPs. They're kind of sizing up for a tier 2 for tier 2 trades, though. LGD might just go pop the Exorcism on the high ground and force them back. I think IG do need to be back here and ready to go. Aegis is still up for another 50 seconds. So Ame straight up onto the high ground. Ghost Scepter gets popped nice and early from the Disruptor. They don't have the Glyph on the Radiant side anymore. LGD being careful about what they do here. Chalice, if he could get a big blink in initiation, that would be huge, but he knows that he has to be careful of the Glimpse. Knows that he has to be careful of the Blink Bar counter initiation, and LGD will instead just call it a day. Take the tower for tower trade and let the Aegis run down. Ame's going to be going for a Nullifier. So between that and the Silence from the Death Prophet, maybe they can find some of these more elusive kills that they've been lacking. They've also got their BKB on the Death Prophet here, and I think probably a pretty big reason why they don't choose to take that fight is they didn't have that delivered just yet. Slark's still farming up. Aggressive has his first ultimate orb now completed. Dire Vision, not really all that much. At least they've got a couple of Batrider illusions kind of scouting things, which is nice. But yeah, Ame really playing for this late game PA. Does the Sand King have his Yule Scepter just yet? Not quite. SRF still not really recovering from his early game start. I feel like both offlaners have actually been having a pretty tough time. LGD 5-manning a little bit more, not wanting to risk any of their supports to getting picked off. They actually managed to catch the Sand King on mid with the Lasso Burst Strike stolen, lock him down. That's going to be a nice 4-man track kill, and LGD now with the Sand King dead are in position to try and take out this mid-tier 2 tower. Maybe this time around with the BKB, I'll be feeling a little bit more confident to try and take a fight. They do manage to get a D-ward over here, but IG not really in position on the tier 2 just yet. There's a double damage bot. They see this. SRF respawning in 20 seconds time. They are going to give it over to XXS. Still going back for the Orchid.
Thank you, my beauties.
Still a very tense game. Really going to come down a lot to the initiation. Who's getting jumped? I think just because the IG counter initiation is that much better. Like Bounty Hunter and Rubik, not really counter initiating supports. Meanwhile, Tusk and Disruptor are definitely big counter initiators. So LGD have to be so careful about how they jump into these fights.
Top tower is under attack.
Alright, that bottom tier 2 will end up being taken out. Chalice getting a gem off of X-Nova, who still basically has absolutely nothing in this game. Making room for Prince FY to get some farm. He's going to be going for an Aghanim Scepter. In terms of big steals, what do we got? If he gets the Static Storm, potentially game winning. Sonic Wave pretty good, Burst Strike pretty good. Shadow Dance actually could be a pretty interesting steal for your position 4 Rubik, or your Aghanim Scepter Rubik. I don't think it's a very easy ability to steal off of the Slark, but anything's possible when you're FY. Alright, and Quap does not end up going for the Orchid, just continuing this theme of very defensive items. Now grabbing the BKB. Roshan. Potential respawn in about 20 seconds time. We do have that PA nullifier now up. Big damage increase for Ame. And Queen of Pain might be saying goodbye to all of these defensive items in her inventory. IG also smoked. Smoke on smoke action. The Death Prophet's lagging a little bit behind. Chalice, the smoke breaks. Can they get a good initiation? That's the question. SRF gets him with the Burrow Strike, but FY also gets the Burrow Strike over onto Baboka. They're focusing on FY. He's got the Yule Scepter. The Sand King is the first one to fall. 3 seconds to go on another Burrow. The Sonic Wave only connects onto the PA, who now jumps in. Doesn't manage to nullify Exorcism quite in time, but they do get the lasso over onto him. The Exorcism also doing decent damage. He finally gets the Yule Scepter off at the last moment, but one more auto attack as he drops to the ground. He will die. LGD winning this team fight. And now they will look for more. Did anyone even die on LGD? No buybacks or anything like that. Just straight up better teamfight execution. FY diving in deep, getting focused. The Sonic Wave not connecting on him, so he still survives. Aggressive, jumping into Ame. Ame going toe to toe. Q does still have the Static Storm. Gonna go for the Glimpse back, but Ame just pops his BKB. He's gonna be just fine. The Disruptor doesn't really have anything left in this team fight now, and they're diving onto Baboka. One crit is gonna drop him low. Chalice gonna try and drag him back with the snowball, and it will be successful. Aggressive already at half HP, and he doesn't have the Shadow Dance. Needs to disengage for a second. SRF has respawned. He's got the epicenter, and he is going to go for it now. They want to focus onto Ame, but he manages to get the jump across. They still catch 2 in the Burrow Strike. Death Prophet manages to use herself. She does have 17 wand charges. Maybe still healing up. Goes for another drain. They lose the Disruptor on the backlines. Aggressive can't stand his ground and keep on right-clicking, and now SRF is struck in the middle of everybody. He does manage to jump through. Another BKB popped for Maybe. Aggressive just can't find a target. He does manage to pounce onto the PA, but another blink away. FY will be able to use himself. PA still fighting. Has the nullifier back off cooldown, but it looks like LGD just want to disengage at this point. FY, can he steal a mobility skill? He's just going to hide in the trees. His TP is actually on cooldown, so I think the Shivas is just about to reveal him. They will Yules him up, and he's going to end up being a few more stacks for Aggressive at the end of the day. They got the tier 3, didn't quite manage to claim the lane of Rax. Disruptor buyback was forced out. But LGD just going to go and shrine up, reset. They kited this Slark so effectively. I don't really know how much Aggressive managed to do in that fight. I guess you can just look at the Essence Shift and kind of get an idea, but IG went straight into the Roshan pit. Exorcism is still on cooldown for 20 seconds time. LGD missing their position 4. Missing FY in this situation. It looks like IG might actually just be able to take this. They're right-clicking it down pretty quickly. LGD are coming over, but they might be a little bit too late. Chalice, can he actually go for the steal? He might be able to. Roshan's not dead just yet. He's going to Firefly up. Can he blink in? The Burrow Strike misses. The cheese is still on the deck, and Ame just jumps straight in onto Q, bursts him down. Now popping his BKB, trying to disengage. They've got the Exorcism back off cooldown, and maybe with the blink is going to look for more. Aggressive actually stuck inside of the trees. Can they burst the Aegis here? He's getting body blocked, knocked back by the Flame Break. Now also Silence should be able to nuke him down, and Ame will finish that kill. XXS diving in deep. The BKB should be enough to get him out of here. Baboka getting Yuled up before he can get off the punch. The cheese is now popped. Aggressive focuses onto Nova, brings him down. Ame's low, trying to lifesteal back up. He's doing decent work, and actually with maybe jumping in, they can also get those kills. The Slark is dead. It's only the Queen of Pain alive. She's going to Yule herself for now. Rubik will be looking to chase, as will Chalice, blinking after XXS. I don't know if they can quite finish this. Nice blink forward, silence from Maybe. Another Yule Scepter from the Quap. XXS gets the blink away. But FY still hot on pursuit. If he can steal the blink, he will be able to get the blink lift. I don't even know if he needs to steal the blink. Well, he will in the end, but they get the lift off. FY securing that kill, and it will end up being a full 5-man wipe for LGD. They do lose their PA in the process, but now able to walk in, force out a couple more buybacks. Looks like the Queen of Pain buyback is going to be enough of a deterrent. Maybe he's run a little bit low on mana after those last couple of fights, and they do have to push out both of the side lanes. Even the top tier 3 dying in the midst of all of that looks like just a creeps. So, alright. At this point, IG are going to be able to take the shrines. Still a pretty close game. Only 5k net worth in it. PA just going to try and tank up that little bit more. Ooh, we got a double damage spawning, and Nova with the immediate ping. He might just go and take that for himself. Does not want to risk a double damage Slark running around. Aggressive is going for an MKB at this stage. It seems sensible. I don't know what else he could go for, really. I guess like Basher is kind of the other option. They do seem to need just that little bit more damage to bring down this PA. Actually, almost level 25. That 20% cleave along with the Battle Fury, keeping him on top of the net worth, keeping him on top of the levels. And not too far away from the Scotty. Nova just wants to go Scepter, doesn't want to get run at by the Slark anymore. And how is Rubik's Aghanim Scepter going? Oh, they jumped on the Boca mid. Ame threatening, forcing some kind of a reaction, does get glimpsed, holding onto his BKB patiently. Knows that they can't really kill him without showing the big cores. SRF, what's he got? He is just going for an Aeon Disc. Sick of being bursted down at the beginnings of these fights. Aggressive, gonna get lifted. This is a bad situation. He's now being silenced. It's such a long duration. He's also tracked up. Might be able to escape, getting body blocked a little bit. Now Yule's gonna get the lasso. He will be able to get off the Dark Pact. He has the Shadow Dance. Aggressive, running for dear life. The Courier's even chasing him. LGD throwing everything that they have into this. FY body blocking expertly. And oh no, Aggressive dead for 70 seconds. LGD, the lanes are shoved out pretty far, but I think they're just gonna beeline it down mid. Is there a glyph available for the Radiant? There is not. Oh man, just TPing in the middle of the wave there was very risky business for Aggressive, and that might actually be the opening that LGD need to come and claim at the very least the one lane of Rax. They smoke into the base, hoping to find somebody. Then they will actually get the lasso onto Baboka. They burst him down instantly. He does also have a buyback, but the Exorcism's already shredding the buildings. Radiant Glyph is available. They turn their attention down towards the bottom tier 3 tower. IG still not buying back just yet. They probably need the initiation from the Sand King. Then they're going to use the buybacks. Now they come in. They catch 2 big cores. Sonic Wave also bursting the Death Prophet down low, but she manages to get her BKB off XXS. Just being focused by Ame. Good defensive snowball, keeping him alive for another couple of seconds, but Aggressive still just can't stand in the middle of this fight as Ame reinitiates, looking for SRF. Doesn't quite get the kill. Now nullifies up the Disruptor. A few more right clicks to bring him down. They find the 2 big backline control heroes for the IG side, and now Tusk is also going to die in the trees. Shadow Strike out onto everyone, but the Slark just can't stand his ground. 3 heroes dead, and LGD will be claiming yet another lane of Rax, and they will be claiming this first game here in the grand finals of the China Qualifier for the StarLadder I-League Invitational Season 5.
LGD victory.
It didn't look very good for them through that mid-game. IG were controlling the map really well, split pushing super effectively, but I don't know, that P8, as soon as she got to that sort of 3rd and 4th item, the Slark wasn't really doing anything to her. They didn't have the burst damage, and LGD every single time seemed to get the better initiation, other than that one fight up top where the Sand King managed to kill the Batrider before he cast any spells, so he's just sitting there waiting on the hill. I think other than that fight, LGD always getting a slightly better initiation, either getting a lasso on the Queen or getting a lasso on the Sand King. And from there, IG, without their disables, just kind of completely falling apart. The Disruptor couldn't seem to get a good Static Storm off once the BKBs were up. Maybe if he'd managed to make it to the Ags, it could have changed things a little bit, but that is going to wrap it up for the first game. LGD on the cusp, 1 game away from going to those LAN finals, to giving themselves a few more opportunities to prove what they're worth on the big stage. They don't only have this qualifier to play today, they've also got a best of 5 grand finals for Epicenter to play against Vici J Thunder, so lots of action for any LGD fans today. But we're going to jump to a short break. Hope you guys are enjoying the coverage, and I'll see you here soon for Game 2 of IG versus LGD.